Now I'm going to talk about perks, and as you can see here, we're about to leave the vault, which begins the game. It gives you one last chance to edit all the things that you were looking at earlier. So it gives you one last chance to change your character and change your identity before you go out into the game world. And those first decisions are final then at this point. But there are other, as I said earlier, there are things in the game which can be changed along the way. So your character and your identity are not set in stone. You can, for instance, when leveling up, which in a second we're going to see this character level up, you are able to not only add skill points per level, but also you receive one perk for every time you level up, and we'll get to that in a second. But here you can see I'm leveling up, and here's our skills again, and we have 16 points to spend. And depending on how we want to shape our identity again, we can continue to, raise skills we already have high, or we can balance things out. Now here are the perks, and this is what I'm mainly going to be talking about in this video. But these are special little things that the game developers came up with to kind of make your identity even more individual. For instance, here you can pick the Thief perk, and that will give you better sneak points. Here, with the Little Leaguer, you get better melee points and explosive points. If that's what you want your character to be into, that would be a good perk to pick. The Intense Training is interesting because it can raise your attribute points, those 7 big overarching character identity traits, so it can really affect your character. One I want to talk about in particular here is the Lady Killer perk, which is a perk you can only use if you are a male character. There is another perk for female characters that is very similar, but as you can see here, in combat you do 10% damage against female opponents, and outside of combat you'll sometimes have access to unique dialogue options. So again, this really changes the story. It really changes who your character is and how you as a player play that character. So we see here, once again, game designer interests meeting the player interests in a unique combination that really gives a distinct type of gameplay. And here we are out in the open, and we're finally starting the game after making all these decisions about our character.